Dear Diary, we have two crucial games coming up that could determine the fate of the title race. First, we'll be facing our North London rivals Tottenham, who are in danger of being relegated. A win here could bring us one step closer to securing the title and sending them down. How good would that be? But we can't get too far ahead of ourselves, as we also have a tough game against Leicester City, with Liverpool dropping points in their previous game at Brentford. Prior to our 4-1 win over Watford, we have a 6-point lead over them and could potentially wrap up the title with just 3 games left in our season if they continue to slip up. Until next time. Hello everyone and welcome to episode 95 of FMOE here on Shaun Does FM with Arsenal. I hope you are doing well, and coming up today we could potentially wrap up the Premier League title with 3 games left in the season. First up, we could actually also help relegate Tottenham because they are just outside the relegation zone at the moment. We play them at home in a North London derby, and if Manchester City can do us a favour against Liverpool in the Premier League as well, we could then secure the title as we do travel to take on Leicester City. So if you are looking forward to today's episode, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying this series here on the channel, also consider hitting that subscribe button and turning that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated. But we've just played the one game off the back of yesterday's episode. We did take on Watford. It was a game that we were expecting to win. It was our easiest looking one in amongst our last 4 in the Premier League season, and thankfully we did pick up a reasonably comfortable 4-1 win. It did look like for a while there we might get FM because Watford did get a penalty late in the first half off the back of us somehow only scoring 1 goal in the first, so went into the sheds locked up at 1-1, but thankfully with their only shot on target they didn't threaten too much more off the back of that, and we picked up goals in the second half through Barea and then Barea again to complete his hat-trick from the penalty spot. So I do think we're going to use them in some important games coming up, in particular maybe the FA Cup final in tomorrow's episode against Manchester City, but it does mean we picked up 3 more points. And on the same match day, as you would have seen through that intro, Brentford somewhat upset Liverpool at home, so it did mean that we extended our gap on top of the table to 6 points. We have 3 games left, they have 4 games left, but on this upcoming match day they take on Manchester City, who, to be fair to them, they have just come from behind away from home to beat in a Champions League semi-final, so they will take on Bayern in the final of that competition. But that's a tricky looking game for them, and we should get the job done over Tottenham, albeit it is a local derby, but still, they are all the way down in 16th, so you'd like to think we could win this game, and that would mean that based on our goal differential, Liverpool might not be able to catch us, and it would mean also if we can win this first game, just to make sure of things, a point in that second one against Leicester would be enough for us to wrap up the title if Liverpool do continue to drop points in the Premier League. Also, unfortunately, you will notice there down the bottom that Cardiff City are now officially relegated, the team that we did leave at the start of the season. They've actually recently found a really good patch of form, but unfortunately, too little too late. Marco Rose and Cardiff City going down to the Championship next season, which is sad to see because we did a great job with those guys in a few seasons down there in the Championship before coming up to the Premier League for 2 seasons as well. A little bit concerned because we did put some rather cheap relegation release clauses in some of those contracts, not thinking that would be a danger. Then we left the club and they're now relegated to Cardiff. Might lose some of their good players at the end of this season now that they have been officially relegated. So we'll see what does play out there over the course of the transfer window. But unfortunately, Cardiff City are going down, but we get the chance here at Arsenal to maybe kill 2 birds with 1 stone here in this first game of today's episode, as we are going to take on Tottenham. Before that though, because we are now officially in the Champions League with Newcastle unable to catch us in 3rd position with them only having 3 games left. We have got our transfer budget for this upcoming season. Obviously, we're getting Kylian Mbappe anyway on a free transfer, and we have got a decent transfer budget of around about 96 million. What I will say, just before we did get that transfer budget, one of our players out on loan to Middlesbrough they played him in enough games so that deal did become permanent for £40 million. So we did get that money come in before the transfer budget was topped up. So the actual budget that they added on was around about 55 million, but still that is a good bit of money for us to use in this upcoming transfer window. Does mean we can strengthen in more areas than just Kylian Mbappe, a little bit of leftover wage as well after he will arrive. So it could be a slightly new looking Arsenal team going into our second season in charge. And if we can win the Premier League and hopefully the FA Cup in tomorrow's episode, it does mean that we will be focusing, I suppose, from that point forward on the big one in Europe in the Champions League before we do probably complete this save. But anyway, I did want to use Mbappe for at least one season, so we are going to have to come back and hope that he can spur us on to win the Champions League. But before then, hopefully we can wrap up the Premier League, ideally, in today's episode. But first up, in North London derby, we take on Tottenham. They are not having a good season, all the way down in 16th, predicted to finish 6th. Not too sure what's going wrong there, albeit they've still got players like Harry Kane and Heung-min Son in 2030. That could be a slight issue, maybe too many old players there at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We drew against these guys earlier in the season in a game where we were very unconvincing, but somehow held the lead for most of that game. Hopefully now, with this higher tempo tiki-taka, which we are now playing at home as well as away, because I do like the way it does look in the match engine, and it does seem to be creating a few more goals for us. So that's what we're using both at home and away now. Hopefully a similar performance to that Watford one, and we can get a convincing win over Tottenham and put them just in a little bit of danger of relegation if teams like Middlesbrough and Bournemouth do win their last couple of games and Tottenham do stumble a little bit. They could be going down to the Championship, which would be oh so sweet, but we'll come back shortly. No more injuries off the back of yesterday's episode. The big ones, Tomiyasu and Tierney, both of our first choice wingbacks, are still out, but we'll come back shortly and run through the team sheets and hopefully go one step closer to securing the title and pick up a win over our rivals in the North London derby. And here are the team sheets for this late season North London derby. Obviously some changes for us on both wing backs. We've got Vuskovic at left back, Yakubu a little bit tired, and of course Tierney with that injury, and still Singo at right back. There are Tottenham. They do look a bit old, not in good form, playing a 4-3-3. Hopefully some of those older heads can start to get a bit worried about relegation off the back of this one, and we can go a bit closer to securing a Premier League title. And just shy of the 20-minute mark, we get our first highlight in this game. It's a throw-in here inside the final third. Martinelli now inside the box, finds a little gap and powers that one past the Spurs goalkeeper. First highlight of the game. He continues some good goal-scoring form that he has found recently. And we go 1-0 up. And maybe there's a chance today we do indeed pick up this Premier League title, which, to be fair, has only seemed realistic over the last few games when Liverpool have started to slip up quite significantly, and not too long off the back of that opening goal. We do have another highlight yet again on the attack. Martinelli on the ball. Ramiro, good tackle, but recovers well and sets out nicely for Jesus, but a big save there from Costa in goal. Keeps it at 1-0 for now, makes up for that previous one. To be fair, that effort from Martinelli wasn't quite in that top right corner. Costa probably could have done a bit better, does so on that occasion, and we are up 1-0 about halfway through the first half. And just past the half hour mark, we get our next highlight in this game. It's a throw-in here to Tottenham. We head that one away, and Martinelli wins that ball off of Harry Kane. We try and play out from the back here, Tottenham, with a little bit of a press, but thankfully we are keeping possession and hopefully can grab one more goal going into half-time. Vuskovic, the young left-back, who we did get back off loan from Crystal Palace for the rest of the season, once Zinchenko did do us dirty at the end of January, and now we are on the attack. Great chance there for Jesus from that ball from Saka. Just puts it wide. He's had a few good chances in this first half. Hasn't put them away, so we are still only up by 1-0 with 10 minutes left in the first half. And that is half-time in this North London derby. We do take a very comfortable 1-0 lead into the sheds, but definitely could have been better if Gabriel Jesus put some of those chances away. Also have picked up a few yellow cards in that first half, so we might make a few substitutions here at halftime. Definitely bring on Barea for Jesus. I do feel like at the moment he is the form striker. Also Vieira for Odegaard on a yellow card, and the same applies to Kamara coming on for Bamba at centre-back. We'll also switch him to a usual centre-back potentially, because he might be a bit better suited to that, being a bit better at passing and at his composure compared to Bamba. But that is a pretty good first half. Hopefully we get a bit more reward in the second half. We can continue to play like that as we'll get things back underway with that 1-0 lead. And a very early corner in our favour here to start off the second half. Martinelli will look to put this one in towards the far post. Kamara gets his head on the end of that. Costa parries it away, keeps it from going in the back of net, and we are still only 1-0 up. And about 10 minutes off the back of that opening highlight in the second half, free kick here for Martinelli. What a pole driver that is into that top left corner. He will grab a double on Derby Day. That makes it 2-0, and we finally get a cushion goal. Just seen there, Liverpool are beating Man City yet again after they did go through in that Champions League semi, but that is a wonderful free kick, and Martinelli puts us 2-0 up, and shortly off the back of that, we do have a throw in here pretty much inside the final third. Perret plays that one back to Coop Miners. Vieira all the way back to Saliba, back over there to Kamara off the bench. Perret finds Vuskovic here in a little bit of space now on the edge of the box, puts it into the mixer there for Fabio Vieira off of the bench for Odegaard on that yellow card. We'll sweep that one home, and we're starting to find our goal scoring touch here in the second half. It makes it 3-0, and to be fair, we're pretty good value for that as well. It's been a very dominant performance so far, and it looks like Tottenham, we could be putting them in danger of relegation. 3-0 up here with a half hour to go, and there is in fact a restart off the back of that third goal. Hopefully we can continue to pull the misery on Spurs. They play a ball over the top there looking for Heung-min Son, but Singo will tidy that one up. Kamara forward to Perret over to Coop Miners and gets it straight back. Barrea will play that one forward for Martinelli, of course, these days is on a hat-trick. Can he complete it in the derby? Starts to cut inside, unleashes a shot, but unfortunately that one a little bit weak, so it will remain 3-0 for now while we are here. Might not be the worst time to make a substitution, but no one down to a red heart just yet, so we'll leave things as they are off the back of going 3-0 up. And very shortly off the back of those previous flurry of highlights, now we have a corner here in the 63rd minute. They hit that one away. Coop Miners from the edge of the box. What a strike on the volley. Bit of help from the underside of the crossbar, but that's now two very good goals from outside of the box. 4-0. Tottenham are absolute rubbish, it would appear, and maybe the championship will suit them. Coop Miners with a wonderful strike, and we are absolutely battering them here at the Emirates, and it might not be over. Right off the back of that goal, we have another free kick. Barrea on the ball here, doing well since he's come off the bench, albeit gives that one away, and Costa will pump this one deep. Son is looking for it, but thankfully Kamara does recover well after just stuffing up the flight of that ball that did appear like. Now Saka is on the ball so far. A little bit quiet, it is fair to say, compared to some of his teammates. We try and get on the attack there, do give the ball away. Now Ward-Prowse starts to make his way forward. Can Tottenham grab some consolidation from this game? Hopefully not, because hopefully we are damaging their goal differential as well as their hopes of staying up. And Martinelli now looks to get in behind in search of his hat-trick, gets in between defenders, rockets that one, but unfortunately straight down the line of Costa, who tips that one over the bar. Still 4-0 Arsenal, but this is very enjoyable. If only Man City could get in front of Liverpool, that would make this even better this time. No Coop Miners off the back of that clearance, and this time we might make a few substitutions with this game well under control. Bukayo Saka still fairly recently did get that injury, so Carvalho can come on for him. And also with our current right back situation, we might take off Singo for Yannier Grass. That's all of our substitutions used, as we are 4-0 up with 20 minutes left. And nearly inside the last 10 minutes of this game, there is a free kick here for Tottenham. We'll see if they can actually do something in this game, which is somewhat threatening, because so far we have well and truly battered them. Not a great clearance there from Grass. Gomez plays that one forward to Pozo Son with a header, but never really friends the goal. That one, Ramsdale, not even troubled. Still 4-0 up with 10 minutes left. And in fact, there's one more highlight in this little flurry here. Vieira with a corner, Grass far post, but puts that one over the bar. In fact, might have been Kamara. Still 4-0 with 10 minutes left. And we are about to enter injury time in this game. It's been a very comprehensive performance. Spurs only the one shot on target, which we actually didn't see through a highlight, but we really kicked into gear in about the first 15 minutes of that second half, in particular around the 58 to 65th minute, and off the back of an opener in the first half to Gabriel Martinelli, that was an absolute thrashing, which hopefully puts Tottenham in some danger of being relegated, but it should put us right on the verge of picking up the Premier League title. We might even be able to do it in the second game of today's episode, but that is a great result, 4-0 in the North London derby. And Manchester City grabbed a injury time winner through Erling Haaland, so it does mean that with Liverpool having 3 games left in the season, they now need to win all their games. We need to lose all of ours. We are right on the verge. We probably have one hand on the title already with that goal differential, but Liverpool continue to slip up, and it does mean we could steal the title with just 1 point in our next game against Leicester City. And we've gone forward a few days off the back of that first game in today's episode, and also, of course, Liverpool slipping up yet again, so it does mean that we only need 1 point from this upcoming game against Leicester away from home to secure the title, albeit goal differential means we probably could seal it anyway, even if we do fall off late in the season, but hopefully that is not the case. We can get a point away from home here and keep our good form going into that FA Cup final against Manchester City, but Leicester City is who we do have to face to try and seal the Premier League title these days. Gennaro Gattuso is in charge with a 4-2-3-1. It's a decent mid-table team here at Leicester City, but hopefully we can pick up a win like we did at the Emirates earlier this season by a scoreline of 5-1. No doubt this will be a bit tougher away from home, and also some tired players. I'm going to try and take some off if we do get an advantage in this game, thinking about the FA Cup final, but also it would be nice to seal the Premier League title as soon as possible. All we need is 1 point. Meanwhile, Liverpool, if they want to keep their hopes alive, of course, they still have 3 games left. They take on Middlesbrough, who of course are currently in the relegation zone just below Tottenham, so you'd think Liverpool will pick up a win there, but all we need is just the 1 point to seal the Premier League title. We'll come back shortly with team sheets and hopefully get the job done from the King Power Stadium against Leicester City. And here are the team sheets for this game, where we just need that 1 point to seal the title. There are Leicester City also playing a 4-2-3-1. Their form very mixed coming into this one. They've made 6 changes. We've made absolutely none to our starting lineup from that previous game against Spurs. No real reason, but as I said, might look to take some players off if we do get in front in this game with that FA Cup final in mind. But we just need 1 point to become Premier League champions. And we are entering injury time in this first half, and there it was, absolutely no highlights. We've been so dominant, as you can tell there by the stats, but nothing happened. 0-0 here at halftime. We are going to make a few changes. I can already see Singo down to a pretty dark yellow heart, so we'll bring on Grass for him, and also Martinelli only on a 6.4 today is quite injury prone. Probably not the worst idea to take him off with that FA Cup final in mind, but not playing badly, especially considering we only need a point. But still, based on stats, probably should be winning this one, but we do only need that point. We'll get things back underway. Still 0-0. And up to the hour mark, still no highlights in this game, and still well and truly on the front foot based on stats. We are going to make our last batch of substitutions though. Barea can come on up front. We'll take off Saka for Carvalho, and also Koopmine is not playing too well today. Ugarte can come on for him. There'll be all our subs used. Hopefully make sure some of our better players are fresh for that FA Cup final. But so far, not the most exciting game, but still it is locked up, which is all we need to secure the title. And inside the last 15 minutes, we finally get a highlight in this game, albeit it is still Leicester City. They could rob us here, as we have still been the better team in this game, but no highlights. Obviously, this is the first real decent chance we are going to see in this game, and Leicester City do keep the ball there as we do try and clear it. Will we give Liverpool a chance here to try and take this into the last couple of matches of the season? For them, of course, we've only got one more left off the back of this, but that header from Leicester City was always going wide, it did appear, to still 0-0 with around about 10 minutes left, as we are still in a position to wrap up the title. Now it's a throw in for us, and Trincao gets in behind, also puts that one just wide of the target, so still 0-0 as we do head into the last few minutes of this one. We go positive. We'll see if that does anything. It would appear nothing's going to really happen in this game. We pick up a 0-0 draw, which I thought was enough to secure the title. For some reason, no trophy presentation has occurred, but I'm pretty sure we have won the title, even though that was boring as anything that game. Very little happened, one chance for both teams, which we did see, and it would appear we have won the title. Down there at the bottom, I can see a comment to the team, which would suggest that, so I do think that FM there has just not given us a trophy presentation yet. Maybe that will happen after we play Brighton on the final day of the season, but don't think we need to show you guys that one in tomorrow's episode now, because I believe we have won the Premier League title, and indeed there it is confirmed they are not the most entertaining game at all to seal it, but we have won the Premier League. Liverpool did beat Middlesbrough by 5-0, but it doesn't matter because we are 7 points clear. They have 2 games left. They can only get 6 points, and Arsenal, the Premier League champions, off the back of a very boring 0-0 draw at Leicester City. So that was a bit dull, but nonetheless we do pick up that point that we did need to win the Premier League title. Also, hopefully some of our players will be freshened up going into that FA Cup final, because that game wasn't up to much. We did play quite well based on stats, but somehow did not put the ball in the back of the net. It does mean too, we are on for a domestic treble in tomorrow's episode in the FA Cup final, of course, having already picked up the EFL Cup early this season, as well as the Premier League. We could also pick up that FA Cup, but it does mean in the save that Arsenal pick up the Premier League for the second time in 3 seasons. Do wonder what Sergio Conceição over at Man City is thinking about off the back of leaving them at the start of this season. The board very happy, as they were only expecting us to challenge for the Premier League title come the end of the next season. They also wanted us to challenge for the title this season. We actually changed that back in January to just make sure we could sign Kylian Mbappe and add a bit extra to our wage budget. But as you can see, lots of objectives here ticked off ahead of time, which should hopefully give us lots of brownie points with the fans. They required us to win the Premier League, the fans, and thankfully we have done that. You can see that the board very happy, as I said, the second time in 3 years crowned champions. Quite a few bonuses being paid out that we did include in some contract talks when we did make some transfers at the start of the season. But we are the Premier League champions with 1 game to spare off the back of that big win over Spurs, and also that draw at Leicester, the big result as well for Liverpool, that loss to Manchester City, as well as recent drop points against Brentford and Watford as well. So Liverpool somewhat blowing it there, but thankfully we held our nerve with that higher tempo tiki-taka we did use late in the season, and we do pick up the Premier League title, and that will do it for today's episode. We now have 2 trophies here for the season at Arsenal, and we'll hopefully make it a third with the FA Cup in tomorrow's episode. If you did enjoy this one, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also consider hitting that subscribe button and turning that notification bell on as well. Tomorrow we'll come back. I think we'll just show you guys the 1 game, because obviously that last one in the Premier League season now has nothing writing on it for us, because it is against Brighton, but we will play an FA Cup final against Manchester City, looking for a domestic treble. Can we achieve that in our first season in charge at the Emirates? So far, Arsenal yet to win the trophy in the save universe. Hopefully we can break that curse in tomorrow's episode, and as I said, pick up a domestic treble, and maybe also things might go our way and Tottenham might also end up getting relegated. But we'll come back tomorrow, play the FA Cup final, and also do the end of season review before we get stuck into the transfer window with that 90 odd million pounds at the start of next week. So until tomorrow, hopefully we can wrap up a domestic treble. Thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.